WeatherWords is a production of The Reporter, Delaware County's leading news source.
Good day to everyone. You know, this strange winter still continues. You go from letting the wood stove go out because it's too hot and cleaning things up to restarting it because it got cold. When I spoke to you last on Thursday, believe it or not, the temperature actually got to 52 degrees on Thursday afternoon. I said, wow, this is amazing. When I put 2 logs on my fire on Thursday night, because it was supposed to get cold, which it didn't, it was still 52. Believe it or not, it was 51 degrees to start Friday morning. But if you were awake early on, you actually heard 2 distant claps of thunder in the distance, and then it darkened up and it poured. And as soon as that started to happen, the temperature started to drop. But at the time of the thunder, believe it or not, we were 54 degrees. At 10:30 in the morning, we were down to 40. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we were just about hovering at freezing. And the drizzle and whatever, it wasn't much. Very disappointing on Saturday morning to turn on the light and find 2 inches worth of lake effect snow on the ground. And it was one of those weird ones because it was 16 degrees and you stepped by and you heard squeak, 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 squeak because there's hardly any moisture in lake effect snow. Anyway, we only got to 36 degrees that day, but the angle of the sun melted all that snow away, and by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we were back to bare ground, which is also fine with me. And then, I'm going to call it just wishy-washy weather because you know what? It warms up, it cools down. It warms up, it cools down. Right now, we're sitting at about freezing. We're going to get back into the low 40s today. There's going to be a cold front coming through this afternoon, but they say it's going to bring us down below freezing, but the snow that they're talking about will be way past us and probably down into Pennsylvania and on the borderlines of the counties down there, and we're probably not going to get anything. Then it's going to rain, starting tomorrow around lunchtime. But then another cold front's going to come through, and that little bit of rain is going to turn into some snow by mid-afternoon, and the winds are going to pick up. And then, it's going to be one of those weeks once again. Wednesday and Thursday are going to be the ones we really need to worry about because they're talking about mixing and maybe freezing rain and maybe some ice and then rain on Thursday and maybe some heavy rain. You know what? Right now, as I'm talking to you, we have 0.51 inches of rain for the entire month of February. There's 1 week left. Normal's 3.2. It's going to have to pour like crazy, even bring us near normal, which we're not going to get, that kind of rain. So we go from being over last month to being under this month, and it's just this weird. If this were summertime and it was growing season, everybody would be crying because you wouldn't be able to water your plants and everything else. Grass is still green, believe it or not. The goats and the cows are having a wonderful job out in the pasture, and that's fine too. But this is February. We're supposed to have snow up to our knees and piles everywhere. Not this year. This might actually end up being one of our least snowiest winters we've ever had. But then again, March can be dreadful. And if you remember last April 4th, with that horrible heavy snow that snapped tree limbs and stuff, the weather is now anything can happen. Looking at the trends from the past doesn't seem to mean anything anymore. These last couple of years have been very dynamic, let's put it that way. Either too wet, too dry, too hot, or too cold. And it's still here, so enjoy what you got and have a safe time until I talk to you again on Thursday.
To subscribe or advertise, call 607-464-4009.